In fact, let's show you what's forecast for Fausto and the Hawaiian Islands. Right now, here's the latest information coming in from the National Hurricane Center. The winds have come down to about 65 miles per hour or so. So we're still looking at this tropical storm that was once a hurricane. Not only was Fausto a hurricane, but man, did it go through some warm waters and really intensify. What is working for it? What is working against it? Right now, a low wind shear. Do we have low wind shear? No, it's moving right into a lot of it, and that will help to pull this storm apart. Does it have a lot of high moisture in place ahead of it where it's moving to? No, it's all dry air. So that's also working against it. Warmer waters, not anymore. It needs these waters to be at least in the 80s and the 80-degree water temperatures. Sea surface temperatures are a little farther south of there. Here's what it looks like as you look at the water vapor imagery, and there's a whole lot in the way of dry air. Look at that red there right over the Hawaiian Islands. Right now, Hawaii is doing great as far as weather. However, the impacts include some rain, and it's more about the waves in this case. Now, notice as we go through, say, the afternoon and into tomorrow, perhaps still remaining a tropical storm before eventually starting to go below that by the time we get into perhaps late to Wednesday, early Thursday. With Fausto continuing to move into the cooler waters, the models, not only the Google AI, which has been very effective and very good since last season when they first introduced it. The traditional model keeps it a little farther north from the Google AI model, and then the European AI model, the AIFS, goes a little farther north than that. So when you look at the three, you're like, all right, the cone is going to go more with the Google AI as far as where the center of the storm could go. Here's a look at the future radar, and notice a lot of the heavier rain right around the center of the storm continued to just kind of fall apart with that dry air in place. And having said that, you'll continue to watch mainly for some big waves. As far as rainfall, we're just expecting about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. It's the waves today that will be impacting the Big Island up to 9 to 12 feet. And as we go through the day tomorrow, those move into the northern islands. So be aware if you're going to be visiting or if you live across Hawaii. And meanwhile, in the rest of the Pacific, it has been very active. We have a couple of hurricanes, or one hurricane right now, powerful Category 4 that reached Category 5 strength yesterday. And we have Typhoon Dolphin that's turning in the western Pacific. So two storms that we're watching in the eastern Pacific this morning. One of them is going to be Fausto, which we just talked about, and Genevieve down to the south of Mexico right now, creating some big swells off the coast of Baja, California, Mexico. If you're going to be visiting Baja, I'd prepare for that. Perhaps all the way to Puerto Vallarta, but as the storm pulls away, we'll see less in the way of those choppy waves. It is still a Category 4 impressive storm at that. Look at the beautiful eye with this on the northern side of that. Not quite as full, a little more in the way of some winds that it's encountering. But when you look at the visible satellite, look at that. It's a perfect form, just a big old donut there. The eye looks pretty impressive as well. It's tracking to the northwest at a pretty good clip. Does it have some wind shear that will slow it down or pull it apart? It's got some. As far as the moisture, is there plenty of moisture with it? Of course, yeah, especially as the storm is pushing the thunderstorms away from the center of the storm itself. And it's still in the warmer waters, so it should remain a hurricane, especially since it's so big and so strong right now, at least for a couple more days. And it's not perhaps until, say, Thursday afternoon, maybe into Friday, that we start to see this become more of a tropical storm and away from a land, which is also good. Let's get to the other side of the Pacific as we're tracking what is now Dolphin. Now, this continues with the winds at 85 miles per hour. And of course, on this part of the world, these are considered typhoons, right? The track takes us north of Saipan and Guam. They'll be dealing with some of the impacts as far as big waves, but look at the intensity of it. Really holding tight as a pretty powerful storm as it churns off to the north and northwest of the Hawaiian or the Guam and Saipan Islands, and this will be the forecast for this specific storm as we go through the next few days. Of course, we keep you updated because when we have El Nino, we tend to have a very active Pacific season, and that's been the case so far.